if I'll get some viewers. Hi guys, welcome to my Twitch. I'm going to be live on YouTube too, so I'd appreciate if you go over there and watch me from YouTube. I'm going to do my Ipsy unboxing. And I'm going to show you guys what I got. And I'm going to open up my app so I can have it pulled up. I'm going to do it in order while I eat a Berkey. So good. I'm going to read them after. The first thing is a blush by Farrah. The first thing is a $25 blush by Farrah. It's the blush by Farrah. It's a stick blush. And it's this color. It doesn't really have a scent. It's this color. And it's like that. It looks like that. Then you blend it out. That's what it looks like blended. That's what it looks like blended out. It looks prettier in person. I've used it once. And that's a creamy matte Mai Tai blush. And it's in the color She Honey. It's in the color She Honey. And that's the first thing. Then the next thing is Wander Beauty's Upgrade Brow Pencil and Gel Duo. And that's a $26 brow thing. So this automatically makes it $51 for 2 items. And it looks like this. Or, there we go, Wander Beauty. And I'm going to turn this light off because it's starting to... I got my light too bright on. And it looks like this. I turned that extra light off because it was just getting a little bit too bright. And it's this Wander Beauty, and it's got your gel on that side that you brush through. Then on this side, it's like a pencil. I'll try it once. I don't normally like these things. That would be good if you had actual brows. So, me not having brows, we'll try it. Okay, then we've got a $45 we got $96 after this. This is the Glow Recipe Pomegranate Peptide Firming Serum. And it looks like this. And the packaging is like this. And the bottle looks like this. And it's just a serum, and it's a pump. And you just pump it out, and it's a little bit thin. Rub it between your fingers and just rub it all over your face. And it really gives that really good glow. I don't know. For some reason my camera's not picking up good. I think my camera's a little dirty. I may need to clean my camera again. It's really, I don't understand. It's really like, my camera's really out of focus tonight, and I don't know why. Okay, then we got that. Then the next thing is this lip oil. We got this lip oil. This is the it's In Beauty Project Glazed Lip Oil.
In the days after the 2020 presidential election, CIA Director Gina Haspel flies to Frankfurt, Germany on a secret mission to secure computer servers that contain evidence that the election has been manipulated. These servers, owned by a bankrupt Spanish company called Skytel, could prove that the election was rigged for Joe Biden. Haspel and a team of Special Forces troops descend on Frankfurt to destroy the evidence. But in the raid, 5 troops and a CIA official are killed. Haspel herself is injured, flown to Guantanamo Bay, and given a tribunal for treason. In 2009, Venezuelan leader Hugo Chavez creates a voting system that could change votes in elections in any country using this advanced technology. One of the technology companies that uses it is called Smartmatic, which supplies voting equipment to a single U.S. county in the 2020 election. The scheme between Smartmatic and Hugo Chavez is a secret and successful effort to rig the election for Joe Biden, even though Chavez has been dead for 7 years.
I got this brush set. It's a
Pescara,
$72
Italy.
brush set.
A rogue employee at the defense and aerospace company Leonardo Spa hacks into military satellites to change the margin of victory in U.S. states where Trump has beaten Biden. It's a veritable coup d'etat, and it would go down as the most extraordinary effort in history to overturn a presidential election.
Miss Glam.
Oh, you know what? That one actually sounds pretty fun. Italian military satellites? Mamma mia! These sound great.
Brushes. I just haven't had new eyeshadow brushes in a really long time.
Oh, I'm forgetting one. How could I not mention the Hungarian vector?
There's been so many bizarre stories going on through the media.
You can have some pretty far-fetched ideas on both sides. And what we're doing is simply proving or disproving as many of those as we can.
Really
Speaking of somebody on the outside, this feels like it's just feeding into conspiratorial thinking.
We're mythbusters.
Great.
Okay? We're doing things we think are foolish, but people believe it's real.
If we validate that something they think might have happened didn't happen, then we're not throwing fuel on the fire.
Are you looking into the Hungarian vector?
I didn't know about that one.
Hungarian vector.
It's a bullshit thing I just made up that sounds cool and a little bit spooky.
This is Jordan Klepper Figures the Conspiracy, and yes, those 2020 election conspiracy theories do sound a lot more exciting when we put public domain suspenseful music underneath them. You may have heard a few of those theories, partly because the White House and Republicans in Congress were publicizing them in the weeks after the election to convince Americans that the election was stolen. And it worked, to an extent. 61% of Republicans still believe the election was stolen, according to a Monmouth University poll from September of this very year. Today we're going to talk to someone who has had the most legal success against Trump's efforts in court to overturn the election. And we're also going to talk to a Supreme Court expert about the cases in front of the court now that could determine how future elections here are conducted. But before we get there, I really want to go back to the Italian military satellites. This is what became known as Itallygate, and it's filled with more juicy content than a piping hot calzone. And the craziest part of this conspiracy theory is that Trump's chief of staff, Mark Meadows, was emailing details of it to the Attorney General, Jeffrey Rosen, to try to get him to do something or anything about it. I can't unpack
And then
Italy
my
Gate
$40
alone, so
add-on
let's introduce Eric LeVay.
makes it
He's a
up
digital
to
research analyst at the Institute for
$226.
Strategic
So the whole
Dialogue
box is
and a former investigative
$226
journalist who wrote
with my
extensively
add-on,
about the Italy Gate conspiracy
and it's a
theory, or as I like to call it,
travel-size
lasagna
Fenty.
gazi.
And I've almost used up one of these.
There's going to be a lot of these, Eric, so I hope you're ready. Thank you for being
This is my
here.
favorite perfume
Let's start at the
of
very
all
beginning of
time.
this conspiracy theory, which
perfume.
comes from an organization
So,
called Nations
Fenty
in
perfume.
Action, a group apparently based
And
in
I love
Sarasota,
the
Florida,
Fenty logo.
which published a press release titled
gonna show you.
Senior IT Expert at
That's the
Global
Fenty
Defense
logo.
Contractor testifies in Italian federal court. He and others switched votes throughout America in the U.S. presidential
Fenty
race.
is Rihanna's last
Can you
name.
explain
That's
some of
where
this
she
for
gets
us?
the Fenty from.
Yeah, definitely. So
She
it
named it after
emerged sort of
herself.
in late
So
2020,
my whole
and
Ipsy box
it's still a little bit murky about where it
this
came
month.
from. The Washington Post
I got
did
a link
a really
for
good
my
article on it, but
Ipsy, if
it
you wanna
possibly
join
was, it had
underneath me.
sort of origins in an article in Italian media,
Ipsy.
and then an ex-CIA station chief named Bradley Johnson put out a video.
this
But the
month's,
ones who really pushed it forward, to answer
Hot
your
Glow
question, were Maria Zach
this
from
month's
Nations in
theme?
Action and a woman named Michelle
I only
Roosevelt
do this so you
Edwards.
guys can see what kind of stuff you get.
Let's
so you
start
can
with
see if you
let's
would like
break
to get
down.
it.
Talk to me a little bit about Maria Strollo-Zach.
I did order one
You've talked to her, correct?
product on the Ipsy shop.
I talked to, I called her number, and an
So,
identical voice
that'd
answered
be
the phone. Who
So
said
my
it
box
wasn't
was
her?
$186 and I paid $30. So I got $150.
Theoretically talking
worth.
to somebody who may have been herself
More than,
pretending to be somebody else.
I got
That's why I'm reporting,
$150
that's why I hate phone calls,
more worth
and I
of
like
product
emails.
than I paid for.
The era of Zoom works for you because you can actually see what that person
So,
looks like, as opposed to
that's
distrusting.
awesome.
But who is this person? Who is Maria Strollo-Zach?
And then
So
I
she's
bought the
a
$40
conservative
perfume
activist and an ex-Georgia lobbyist who I guess was pretty successful. And I think she ran for office a few
$15,
times
something
herself,
like
just
that.
on the local level.
I think
Just
it was
at some point got
$15,
very
so
involved
my
in this
whole box was like
Italy Gate
$45,
conspiracy and pushed
and I
it
got
very far.
$226 worth
I
of
feel like
stuff.
if you're in
I
this world, you're
saved
talking
over
about Italian
$150.
satellites, those things flip, and you're
And
probably a character. Is she
I
a
like this
character,
lip
I'm
glaze,
guessing?
too.
It's interesting because when I watched the videos, like she's clearly like a very intelligent person. That's what's also like. So there's a little bit of a you got this
And-
conspiracy theory, obviously, which is
whatever,
false.
but I wanted
But
to
then you
let
have a
guys
person who's like, she's laying it out with confidence.
Tell us a little bit about Michelle Roosevelt Edwards.
So she runs another organization called the Institute of Good Governance.
It's in
And
the Ipsy
she
box
sort of worked
so that you
closely
guys
with
can
Maria
buy it.
Zach on
And
Italy
my
Gate.
referral code
So the
for
Washington
Ipsy
Post had a big article
Boxycharm,
that
so you can
at
get
some point an
underneath it.
Icelandic
And
film
I
crew
get
went to
points
interview
for-
Michelle
towards a
Roosevelt
free
Edwards.
product.
I don't know what that was
I'm
for.
gonna go review this stuff
But in the house,
really quick.
I guess there was some. You remember that movie The Game, where there's like there was something
But I wanted
weird
you
in
guys
like the
to
house,
know,
and she really like in Michael Douglas. It's like no, like this isn't a real house.
what the value
film
of your
crew
box
was in
is and
there,
what
and
kinds
they're
of
like,
stuff they send.
"Is
so
this
you
your
guys can
house?"
see
Because
if
it's
it's
someone,
worth it
and she's
to
like,
you
"Yeah, it's my house." Anyway, it turns
to
out
get some
that it wasn't
Ipsy.
her house; it was some other woman's
And
mansion,
I
and
have
she's
my
just a
referral
realtor.
code, and I get points
like in
towards
the
a free
area.
product when people
And
join.
it's not her house, and the
underneath
poor
me.
woman,
So
her husband
if you
died.
do
She didn't
ever
even know.
do-
She's like, "Why is this woman in my house?"
Thank you.
Wait, was
I'll
that
talk to
woman
you guys
in the
later.
house at the time? She's
Thank
like,
you,
oh
and
dear
have a
Lord,
wonderful week and
oh dear
weekend, and
Lord,
I'll see you in my
who does
next
conspiracy theories
live
being
stream.
interviewed in my living room?
She was somewhere else or something,
have
but
a
it was
nice,
like I
safe
felt
week and
bad for her.
weekend.
No, it was like she was just using this
Don't
house for
forget,
like I don't know, business.
I do new videos all the time.
You're telling me this person will put up an entire
make
false
good
front to
choices,
show that she's more
stay
successful than she is.
positive,
She's
treat people with
somehow
kindness,
connected to
give
this
this a
whole
thumbs up if
Trump
you like
world.
this type of video.
I don't buy
Hit
it.
that
I don't buy it. It just
subscribe button so you'll see
doesn't sit
when
well
I make
with
new
me.
videos.
Yeah, it's tough to
And,
believe. That was like that just
Hit that
killed me.
bell so you
Okay.
get notified every
And
time
I want to
upload.
dig into sort of their
And,
roles within this, but this
remember to comment
initial thought was sort of
if you
revolving
were
around
an Ipsy
an
member, would you
employee,
choose-
Arturo
You
Delia,
get to
correct?
choose 3 of your products
Yeah,
every
there's
month.
I was thinking about this last
And
night. This is
2 of them
the
are
hardest thing
curated
about
based
Italy
on your
Gate
profile
is,
that you
I
set
mean,
up.
to state the
And
obvious is like
I
explaining
recommend
it. The
getting
short
the
version
Boxycharm
is
plan and
Italian
not just the
satellites
glam bag.
based in
The glam
Pescara,
bag is
Italy.
just samples, and it's really not
who
worth
altered
it.
the
And you get a
votes,
bunch of
giving
little
Joe Biden enough
little
votes from
makeup
Donald
bags that
Trump
you
to
don't
win.
really
That's
need,
the short
so
version.
it's kind of a waste.
Yeah,
I
Italian
didn't end
satellites,
up
they're the bad guys.
Well,
using
there's
it,
a
and it
lot
was
of
kind of a
players
waste,
in this.
but once I got this, I used
The
a lot
CIA,
of the stuff.
former
And
President
if I
Barack
don't like
Obama.
it after a couple couple uses, I give it away.
The hacker that you just
right
referenced,
away,
and a
so
lawyer
someone
who
else
put out
can
an
use it before
affidavit.
it's
There's like
expired.
those 4.
So
Those are the 4. So the
that being
hacker,
said,
he worked
I
for
wanna thank you guys for
something called
watching.
Leonardo
Have a safe
Spa.
weekend, and I'll see you
Yeah,
guys
he worked
in my
there.
next video.
They
Thanks
said
for
he
watching
left
my
in
Ipsy unboxing. If
2017,
you
which
like
is another
Ipsy
problem
and you
because
use it
when he
comment
was
which
indicted
plan
for a
you're on,
separate, I
and
think it was
if
like
you
data
think
theft.
it's worth
He
it.
didn't even work at Leonardo.
And I
What
definitely
is
think
Leonardo
this plan is
Spa?
worth
I mean,
it.
it sounds
And
like
that's
a
my
massage parlor
honest
and
to
like a
God
cheap
opinion.
one.
Once they
Just
merged
outside
together and
Rome,
they said
that
that you
like
could get
you
pick 3 of your
splurge because you're on
products,
vacation, but you don't have enough money, so you're
instead
sort of
of
like,
just
what's a
picking
cheaper
one,
one? Like, come to Leonardo
that
Spa.
was a
It's
game
right next to
changer when you get
Michelangelo
full
nails.
products.
That was a very
'Cause
specific.
they'd give you glow
This
recipe,
is
but
a
you just
hypothetical.
start
I've not
using it
had
and start
that
liking
experience.
it, and you were out of
I
it.
imagine if
You
you're
wouldn't even
pouring
get a
in
week's
Italy
worth of
and
use out of it.
had a
For
hard
that,
time
I
on a
get a
long
whole month
plane
and a half
because
to
those
2
seats,
months
there's
worth
not a
of
lot of
use out of
space,
it,
and you're a
the
tall
full
person.
product. So I can actually
Hypothetically,
use
you're going to
it
be looking for a
and get the
Leonardo
full
Spa.
effects and see how
This is not that kind of spa.
well I'm gonna like
Exactly.
it.
No,
And
it's
if I really like
a
it and they
somewhat
have
more
more on the
boring
shop, I can buy it,
military.
or I can just wait
You
for
know,
more
like
to come,
a military. They
or I can
make
get a
military
different product.
equipment, satellites,
And I'm always
stuff
being able
like
to
that,
try
like
new
a
stuff,
Boeing.
and my
Okay.
skin looks really good
So,
because I use
and
really
this,
good products.
is this Arturo
And that's how I
Delia?
discovered that this is
Delia?
my favorite.
Does he
Because
actually
they had
work
a
for
thing
Leonardo Spa?
that was the serum.
My understanding is at some point
And
he
the eye
did work
cream?
there, but he was gone by
Not the eye cream.
2017.
Okay.
They had
Is
a
there
thing
any
that was
information
something
that
in
says
it,
that
and
he
it's
had
the serum.
access
I don't know. I got it in
these Italian
Boxycharm,
satellites
but
in a
they
way
have
that
the
could
eye
alter an
cream
election?
with
Zero.
Madetsky
Zero.
eye
Okay.
serum.
Okay. But so walk us
And I
through
was
this. So the
using
head
those
of
together, and they worked so good. I wish
Nations
they'd
in
bring back the
Action, this
Madetsky
group. It's a
eye
person named
cream, 'cause
Maria
I really like
Strollo
eye serums.
Zach,
I really
who
liked it.
you've
And I
spoken
love
with
the
in your
Fenty
reporting. What's she
depuffing eye
like?
cream. I use it a
Well,
lot.
and to be
I use it
clear,
when my
I was
eyes
telling
are
your
really
producer that
puffy.
was
And
a
there's another
funny
one that I
story
use
because when
that
I
I like
called
too.
Maria Zach for comment,
But I only buy more when I'm
obviously
out.
being a
I always
phone, I
keep
can't.
one on hand.
I don't
And
know
I
for a
just
fact.
ran
I
out
can
of
say that
these,
the
so I
person who
ordered it.
answered sounded
The
exactly
last
like
day
her,
I ran out of it.
but
I
told
ordered
me
it before
very
I needed
quickly it was
more.
not her.
I only had to go one day with you.
And actually said it was her secretary, and could she? The phrase was, could she
You can
return?
get this on my Ipsy.
And I was
On my
telling Matt, I was like,
Linktree in my
this is a
Amazon
cell
products that
phone.
button love,
But
and I recommend
anyway, I was
this.
like, sure, of
This
course.
is my favorite.
Wait, so
I've repurchased this
did
probably
that
5 or
person
6
then
times.
pretend to hang up, put on a
am
gruff voice,
obsessed.
and then attempt
The
to
spray,
then answer
there's
the
a-
phone?
There
It was
was
the
a
same
whole set
voice,
of
but
it,
they were
but
just
they don't
like,
have it anymore. But
can
the
she
spray that
return?
they sell on
And I was like,
Amazon for this
when you're a
brand,
reporter, like it's
and the eye cream,
things like that happen. So yeah, sure, of course,
and
no
the
comment.
face wash, the foaming face wash, and
And
these
just to be weird, if you're
serum
also
and
like a public
moisturizer
figure
are
and somebody
my
calls you and you
favorite
pretend to
out of
be
the whole set.
your own
I did try
assistant
the
just
eye
because you think
patches,
it gives you
and they're
status,
okay.
that doesn't make you weird. That's just a
So,
savvy
thanks for
media
watching. Don't
person
forget to hit
thing
that
to do.
subscribe button.
And
Become
if
a
my
member of the Bat
parents or
Fan.
my
Hit
friends
that bell so
think
you
that's
get
a
notified
desperate
every
attempt or
time I
that
make
I'm
a video.
not in a
And
good
hit
place,
that
well,
bell
that's
so you
more
get
on
notified
them.
every time
Can you
I
verify
upload.
that?
Yeah,
hit that thumbs up
what
so
jumped
you
out at me,
know
I'll always
when
remember
I'm-
about that was how quick it was. It was
So I know
very.
you like this type of video,
I mean,
and I'll keep making these, and I
You're a
love you
comedian, you're an
guys.
improviser. It was
And I
real quick.
appreciate you
There was
guys.
no
You guys are
pause.
the best.
Like
If you
that
watched
had
this
happened
far,
before, maybe.
Thank
That's,
you ever so much.